Hello, girls, and welcome to our final module. I can't believe, right? How is it that we're into our 6th month? Whew, time does go by fast, doesn't it? Well, I thought for our 6th month, not only we're having our guest speaker, we're actually going to go into our 7th month, not with a new module, but with another call. So I'm doing a little bonus here, got stretched out, which is lovely. And we're also going to do a follow-up call. So those are all extra surprise parts that I'm adding to. So not to just send you off on your way without checking in with you. But this particular module, this last one, I thought needed a conversation more than just the paperwork, which is obviously we need to do also the work on paper or on the typewriter. Or, oh my God, am I dating myself there? On the computer. But I also wanted to talk to you because I'm circling around to our beginning, and that's how any course should be, so that it's not just linear, that there's layers, and it's always circular in a way. And when we started this journey together, I asked you to think about your ideal client, which I'm ending, but more specifically, and we're going to do some work on how to know your ideal client. You wrote it out. Hopefully you did that part at the very beginning. But now is a time, as we've worked our way through different parts of Brene Brown and our own parts, my new parts added with Brene's part, to get you to know you better. And so here's the key as we round out our last module together. I think I called it a unit. I'm thinking of school there. How well do you know yourself? Because going back to the beginning of this session, this course together, I asked you to explain your ideal client. And the truth is, your ideal client is you. So hopefully throughout this process, you've gotten to know yourself better and better. And I'm going to ask you to revisit your ideal client, but I'm going to ask you, so your assignments are going to be about you. How are you showing up to be your ideal client? What is happening in your life presently? Not just who you are, what you like to do, but what is happening, because my business changes and shifts and expands as the events unfold in my own life. And so that's the way your business will go too. It doesn't have to tank and it doesn't have to soar. It can continue to organically expand with you. And that's why personal development is so integral in being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurialism, that's a word I believe, is the best way to push any button that we have, any button on insecurity, on voice, on speaking our truth, on selling a product, on receiving money for our services or for products, right? It will find new and new and new ways of pushing our buttons. And that's part of what we chose. It's not just about being of service to others, which obviously that's what we love to do, but it's also being of service to ourselves. And so the key is to recognize the buttons that get pushed in us along the way, to dive in and to lean in, to move through. Because the truth is, we're going to find a new avenue of our entrepreneur life in what comes up in our life. Even look at, as recently as Gabby, watching some of the things that have gone on in her life. Her business, I've seen shift, and it's continuing to shift right now. It's in a flux, I feel like, right now. And I think that's because she's working still at leaning into her own shifts. She recently, I think he's going to be 2 though. Maybe I'm not, maybe 1, not 2, 1, sorry, 1. Or is it 2? Now I'm like losing track of how old, but her son is going to be. But becoming a mom brings all new insecurities, all new buttons, all new challenges to her life and her life as an entrepreneur. And she is an entrepreneur. She's a motivational speaker, and she's a writer, and she's a coach, but she's an entrepreneur. Anytime that we're creating something out of nothing, it's not really nothing, but something didn't exist there before, it's entrepreneurialism, right? Even if it's selling ourselves in a good way. So she's shifting. She's currently, I think, in a flux in this place where she's shifting her clients too. Although she's 40 or 41, she's a young mother. So that changes the people that she may attract. When she has conversations about postpartum and all the things that are going on in her life, although I can relate and I can be there and I can send support and love, some of them may not resonate with me as where I am right now, as I'm watching soon to be an empty nester, maybe, I don't know, where my own children are turning 18 and 21. So that, I think, has something to do with how we travel down a path and find new people to call into our lives. And we don't have to be sad that we've done something wrong, that we might lose people along the way. It's not really losing. It's giving them what they need and then setting them free to find someone new to do the same, because we also do that. So this last module is going to be talking about how you want to serve. How is it that you want to show up to serve? And the person that you need to be serving first and foremost is yourself. And that is not a matter of selfishness, as so many people would say, like this new age, which I laugh at, this new age personal development. Well, first of all, it's not so new any longer. This new age has been around for a very long time. So it cracks me up when I go to the bookstore. Well, I haven't been to an actual brick and mortar bookstore for a while. I miss that. And see new age, that's what it's listed as for personal development. Not so new. But we do get a bad rap for, only thinking of ourselves. And I think that people are so closed-minded, right? Limited, that they don't realize or look at the whole picture, that being in total touch with ourselves allows us to connect with the people that we're trying to serve, because that's our purpose. So again, I cannot reiterate enough. Do not feel guilty about being soulful, aka selfish. You have to come first, just like that oxygen mask, so that you can serve those around you. So we're going to be looking at how you're serving yourself in a way that you can best be of service to those around you. And if, for me, my purpose is to be of service first, that's how my business grows. I always come back to, I'm the boss. I can choose whatever I want. I can choose if I want to gift someone a box of cards because it's a pay it forward and I know that it is of their highest good. I have done so. I've done so to people that are shut in or in hospitals, and I've sent that out. I can choose to do that. I don't have to fear that the money won't come back. Things have been tight sometimes for me, but if I always lead with service, that's when abundance comes. That's when the next paying customer comes through the door or through the internet or however it is that you're choosing to serve. So that's where we're going in this last. I almost said first, but it is. It's circling back to the first, but it's not doing the same activities that we did in the first. It's crossing over and bringing and melding us as our best client with who we want to serve as our client, what our niche is, getting crystal clear on what service looks like to you. So this last module to me is so important as a spiritual mindset coach, coaching you, sending you off with this course, that you need to know how you plan on showing up to service, to be of service. Let's rephrase the language, to be of service to others. Because when you know that, that's going to carry you through some of the doubtful moments that you have, that, oh, nobody signed up for my course, or it was such a flop. If you know that your service, the way that you're meant to show up, is to shift someone's, that's for me, okay? This is for me, let's speak for me. My way of providing a service is to provide the opportunity for someone to grow and shift and change at all times, at all times. And you don't know how many times I've come back to that core because I feel like I flopped. A course didn't go well, or people didn't show up when I thought that they were going to love what I was putting out, because I knew my ideal client. I'd researched it and I knew that this is when it hit their needs. And then I start questioning all the things, right? We start questioning ourselves. There's no need to do that. You can analyze and you can go back and you can see, was I behind it 100%? Was my energy in alignment? Was I in a place where I had too many things going on at one time and I really wasn't focused? I couldn't give them the energy that I thought I could. That's where there's no shame. When we can realize that and go, yep, all right, I see it. I can see how this happened. Without shame or guilt. That's a beautiful thing. There's our Brene Brown, right? So I'm going back a module. But also, when you know how you want to serve, you can still show up for that maybe one person who bought your program instead of the 10 that you wanted. And you can serve that one person the way you would serve 10. Because if you're truly planning on showing up to be of service to others, then you will be able to treat that one person as if it were 100 or 300 or 300,000. That's the key. And many, many entrepreneurs miss that piece. They miss the piece that service comes first. And so when things don't pan out the way that you thought they would, and it's going to happen. Let me spoiler alert. That's the life of an entrepreneur. You can come back and say, I have purpose. And my purpose is that one person, because is that one person any less than 10? Are you less than a whole room full of people that I may be talking to? Absolutely not. So service is so important to always be grounded in, so that you can look at that quote failure, and they'll happen, but again, not failure, as a win. That you get to practice your purpose. You get to practice your purpose. You get to practice your voice. You get to practice your presentation with that one person. And you give gratitude for that one person. Now, does that mean that that's all that you're looking for? No, you're looking at growing a business that is going to sustain you. But it's also knowing that not every piece that you show up for in your service, it's going to have payment. And that's something that most business coaches, well, actually no business coach ever told me. But I believed it and I followed it. And you're watching me develop an entire business around the belief system to trust myself and to trust that abundance comes in abundant thoughts. And showing up, my husband asks me all the time, did you get paid for that particular talk? Nope. When are you getting paid? I'm like, I get paid all the time. And I do. And I have money coming in all the time. And that allows me to choose how I'll show up and when that's going to be without payment. Because the payment, when I'm looking for what's coming in, here's a key. Actually, I wasn't going to add this until later, but they're having me add it now. The payment, the money exchange for services, right? When we're constantly looking at how much am I going to bring in, I'm doing this for a reason. How much am I going to bring in? 10 people times whatever my course is, and we're calculating, right? It's saying it's out there. And the money is not out there. The money is in here. We already have it. And when the belief system is, I don't have to get this many people. I already have this many people. Maybe it won't be for this particular course. Maybe it'll be for another course. Maybe it'll be when I do this particular speaking engagement for free, and this has happened to me, I will get a new client that's going to sign up for 6 months. Or I'll get a new client who's going to sign up for 12 months, but 6 months of pay me for 12 months, or, and I have payment plans. So that's the truth of it. I layer, and a lot of coaches won't do that. I totally believe and I trust. And I have never been, nope. I had to think, I'm like, nope, I have never been on the bad end of that. And so I trust. And if I also trust that if it's really going to happen, I'll be okay too. So Follow your gut. Truly, this month, if you're not a meditator, your assignment this month is that I want you to meditate every day as a non-negotiable. I don't care when you do it. I don't care if you do it in the morning, you do it on your lunch, you do it in the evening. It doesn't matter to me if you do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. I've already heard from girls I know who couldn't even sit still in the very beginning, but we've been doing through the retreat. We've stuck to this circle that we're doing. And I have one particular gal that I'm thinking of right now who she couldn't sit for 10 minutes and she's getting lost in an hour meditation now. Now that may not be possible for you looking at your lifestyle right now. But if it's a non-negotiable, you can do 10, 20. That's absolutely possible because you'll make sure it works. Just like you know that you brush your teeth every day, right? You don't show up without brushing your teeth. You're not going to show up without meditating. However that looks, it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. And the reason I say this is because it's going to ground you and it's going to open you to new ideas. And it's going to allow, I almost say it's like a sweeping out of things that are going on. And I want you to see, I want to do this together in our last module and get you hooked on how this works for me. If there's a day where I'm feeling like my day is so full, and there are days like that where I'm up at 4:30 and I'm finishing and shutting my computer off at 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock, sometimes 12:30. I will take something off my list because meditation needs to stay on. In fact, if I'm feeling like it's one of those crazy days, more than anything else, something needs to come off and meditation definitely stays in there. So I want to leave you on the beginning of a new non-negotiable practice because this is what clears me out. This is where I get ideas, not always in the meditation, but it allows me to kind of wipe that slate. And somewhere else during the day, I'll meet someone says something. I'm like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Or a song, or it doesn't matter. But I want you to experience that. And truly the only way, I'm going to be totally honest, is to meditate and to allow yourself to release some of that, like all those parts of the day that get clogged. It's the best way I can say it, they get clogged in you. And bringing it back to the money piece is when I say that it's in here, it's the understanding that it's available to us, not because you have to go out and get it, but because you have to come in and remember that it's yours for the taking, that it's here. It's a mindset. And with every choice that you make of how you want to show up to serve others, to also serve yourself, it is reminding you that that money, that financial abundance that we love, right? Say it's okay to say that you love money, right? See if that triggers you, right? There's a journal activity for you. Does that trigger you? Does it trigger you to say, I love money? It used to trigger me. But when I got clear on what money was for me, which was freedom and opportunity and love, right? Really, because it brings me to retreats for people that I feel loved in. It brings me opportunities to learn and grow. It gives me the freedom to do things with my family that I never was able to do in the past because all I thought about was how I couldn't do them because I didn't have the money. I didn't love money. I hated money. Truth. I hated money for how hard everything was and what I didn't have. And I'm in a completely different mindset now than some of the people around me. Even with my daughter going off to college next year, there's a fear that's within some of the people in my family. And I don't have that fear. I know that we'll take loans if we need to take loans. I know I'll be able to pay them off when I'm ready to pay them off. I know that she'll get scholarships or not. I know that it will happen. I don't have a fear. I can't explain it. It's just knowing that having abundant belief systems brings abundance. And that allows you to serve others around you without the fear of, well, is this person paying me? Is this one? And how much do I have coming in? So that doesn't mean that you don't keep track and you don't, as a business person, keep track of how much you put out, how much you are getting in, what your bills are versus what you're making as for yourself. I couldn't think of the word I'm looking for. I still can't think of the word right now. Those are all important things. I'm not saying, oh, you should just go around, Jen, and not care about money. No, you should care very much about money, and you should respect it, and you should appreciate it, and you should know that it's always going to come, because if you hold the belief here rather than trying to get it from here, you'll never lose it. And it can finally reach you. You've been trying to reach for something that you've actually been pushing away the whole entire time. So that was a little extra that I wasn't planning on speaking of, but they would have me say, how do you feel about money? Can you say, I love money? I could not say that for a long time without feeling greedy, without feeling shallow, without feeling not of service. But I see the beauty in respecting it and honoring it. It's an energy of any other sort, no different. And I love money because I love freedom, and I love opportunity, and I love love. So see if you can say that. That's an added piece I wasn't going to throw in here about service, but I think it was important, and I felt the connection. I always say, what would you have me say? And like I said, this was not on my list of things to talk about, but it was meant to be said and heard. So look at your money story, revisit. That's what I'm getting right now. Although it's not, maybe I'll be shifting this module. It wasn't in this module, but I might be sprinkling that in more so now about your money story. It's very important. But as I leave you in this, I wanted to keep it at 20. I'm at like 23 when I look at it right now. I'm going to add just one journal activity for you to do after watching this. So your first activity is to watch this week. And I want to make this spread out so that it's doable and you don't feel like, oh my God, there's so much to do. This last one is important because part of this last month, I'm going to remind you every day in your modules, in your group, did you meditate today? Check in. A little pressure for you there. That's a non-negotiable. And in order for me to do that, I want to manage how much you've got coming in at you in a week's time or in a daily time, because I know this is a very busy time, but this is also a course that you want to shift yourself and where you're at in your mindset. But meditating is going to be right up there, high on the list. So that's the first one, meditate. The second one, what's my list? Because I think I went off of it entirely. In the very beginning, I had you brainstorm your ideal client. I'm going to revisit that, but it's going to have two parts to it. And you can do it tomorrow. You don't have to do it today. Where are you at right now? Describe yourself. So the whole first part is describe yourself and where you're at right now. You know, are you a first-time mother? Are you a young mother? Are you an empty nester? Are you a grandma? Are you, these are important things. Are you solo? Are you flying solo? Are you taking care of you? And that is enough, more than enough many times. You know, are you someone that is single and not in a relationship and can take that time? I'm a little jealous. To form that relationship and have a love affair with yourself right now. Okay, where are you in your life? Are you holding multiple jobs? Are you in transition from one job to another? How is your health right now? I mean everything. How is your emotional state right now? Are you opening up? Are you someone who's getting in touch with their intuitive abilities? Are you beginning to read or channel? Everything. I want you to really be specific about drawing a picture. You should be able to get a picture. I'm not going to ask you to, you don't have to post it, but to get a picture of yourself. Then, based on where you are right now, I want you to pick something that, I have to move back, sorry. I feel like I'm getting so close. Pick something that you have accomplished over your time. So maybe you're looking at all this stuff and it's really easy to look at all the things that you still need to work on or fix or do or shift or change. And that's great. But I want you to look back at where you've come from to where you are right now and pick a belief system or pick something that you have overcome or shifted or grown from. And I want that to be the last thing that you put on that, I don't know if you want to say journal activity of your writing. So, describe where you're at currently. But then the last piece I want you to describe is, or state, I should say, is where you've come from. Something major that you have shifted, whether it's a belief on worthiness, even if you're not done, we're not done, I'm not done. But I can look at it and go, wow, am I in a different place than I was 5 years ago? So whether it's worthiness, money story, relationship, love, pick whatever it is that you feel most proud of, that you've put the most amount of work into. And that's where you're going to close the first section. Because the combination of where you're at, and you still know where you need to go to, is going to lead into your next section, which is revisiting your ideal client. What's your niche? Do you have an age range? I recently did an interview that's coming out in December, and the woman had said that she just won't work with anyone under 30. Won't. She was very curious how it was for me to work with, I have had young clients, like high school, not a lot, but I have. And she's like, really, how does that go? Like, I find that, everybody thinks they know what they're talking about, and that triggers her. She can't deal with a younger girl, and triggers, not in a bad way. It's just, well, it is in a negative, but she is aware of it, and she won't have that be part of her niche. Someone say niche, either one, tomato, right? So when you're looking at where you are right now, what you've come through, let that speak to you as you start to define your ideal client. Again, revisiting, but new, now that you've gotten to know yourself better. Would you do younger? Would you take in younger clients? Do you want an age range because you know that that's where you're most comfortable? The clearer you are, that sounded really funny. The clearer you are, the clearer everyone else is going to be in finding you. Who do you want to serve? I can tell you right now that I probably don't serve anyone that is of a strict, I don't know if that's the right word. I'm Catholic, grew up Catholic, but I can tell you fears that I had in coming into this new understanding of my channeling and everything. The word oracle card just sent me in a tizzy. It made me think of things that I was told to be fearful of, and that was witchery and was evil and would open up gateways to the devil. Okay. And I'm not even in I'm pretty progressive in my Catholic upbringing, but they were deep rooted, set in me. I know, and I've watched people leave my group who, I had one girl, some of you might remember, oh, she follows Oprah. She's an Oprah lover. I'm like, what's an Oprah lover? Like, I love Oprah, or, I don't follow her that much, but I liked her, but I didn't know that that was a negative. So obviously, and she was very strict in her faith, she's a person I would say her beliefs owned her versus her owning her beliefs. And there's a difference there. And her religious beliefs owned her. I have many beliefs in my organized religion, but they don't own me. And now I can read through and say, yep, this one works for me. Nope, that one doesn't. Oh, yep, still like that one. Nope, that one doesn't. Okay, that's how I work with organized religion now. I don't denounce it, but it doesn't own me. It guides me. And it's a piece of me, not all of me. And so I know for sure that if I was writing this out, on that niche would not be anyone who was so strict in their organized religion that I felt that I was a trigger to them. I need people that are open, not open for me to control them, but open to their own learning and growth. And that kind of takes care of itself. That woman went on her way. She didn't stick around any longer. I wasn't for her. She was trying to actually at one point warn everyone that don't listen to me. I'm, the work of the devil or something along those lines. Definitely the Oprah lover. And people were so beautifully supportive and going at her and trying to defend me. And I said, it's fine. She honestly believes that she is helping and being of service to people. Now, she was being of service in the wrong group. That's all. She could go off into another group, and she did leave. I didn't ban her and I didn't take her out. I knew she wasn't going to stay because she didn't feel loved and she didn't feel accepted. And she wasn't. But guaranteed, she found, hopefully anyway, she found a group that her purpose, her soul, holy purpose, would be received with open arms. So that's what I mean about finding your niche. What kind of people do you want? Is it only going to be women? Is it going to be women and men? Is it going to be a younger population? Maybe you're very drawn to teens and you want to catch them while they're still in the midst of that angst. I don't know. But look at where you are. Look at what you have accomplished. You can definitely put more than one. But I want you to put one that you feel really grounded, like, damn, I'm proud of that part. Because that's going to be the piece that's going to show you what you can guarantee knowledge about. I'm not going to say guarantee someone else's shift, right? They have free will. I never do that. I never come on and say, I promise you that this is going to happen. But I can say, I promise you I can share from a place where I can relate. Because the truth is we can always relate, right? We are one and the same. Different stories and books are walked through, but we can absolutely connect. And so that's why I want you to have that last piece being something that you're very proud of shifting out of, even if you're still in the process of shifting it, but you can see how far you've come, because that's the part that's going to get you really, really strong in knowing that when you work or you sell, okay, maybe it's a product that you've used that has changed your life. Maybe you're in an exercise place in your life, or you're in fitness and you know for sure you had so many aches and pains and you don't now. And you can speak to that wholeheartedly without trying to sell something. You are selling something. You're selling a transformation. You're selling a belief system. You're selling your belief system in this product or process. You're not forcing something on someone who doesn't need it. And if you're clear on who your client is and your niche, then you're going to find them. You're not going to have to like search and look for them, because you're going to be so clear on what you speak that they're going to be like, oh my God, that's me too. That's the key. The key to knowing your ideal client is knowing your ideal client, right? We don't have to live the exact same story. And really, the same stories that we have all in common are things like worthiness, love, judgment, forgiveness. Those are the ones that no matter what your story looks like, you guys might have very different stories than me, but I guarantee you as we talk, I'm like, yep, I can connect there. Yep, I can connect there, because that's where we connect. It's always about the connection, service, purpose. And that's where we're going to wrap it up. So 30 days of meditation, non-negotiable. Go back in. I'm going to give you the sheet. It'll be listed in here. That's your week this week, is to add to that. You don't have to do it all in one sitting, but you do need to add to that throughout the week. You as your ideal client, what you've gone through, where you are right now. And then the last one is what you are most proud of shifting. Doesn't mean you're done, but shifting. Then you can start into who is your ideal client. Okay. So welcome to our last module. I figured this would be better because you could listen to it. Even if you can't watch it, you can. It wasn't as short as I planned, but when is it ever? So it's going to be about 35 minutes from beginning to end, but it's good for a drive. If you want to just play it that way, you don't have to see me. I'm not doing anything special or sharing my screen, but listening to this particular beginning. So as I'm talking to you, me to you, and starting our last journey of this leg together. Class, leg of our journey. I can't speak today. The last leg of our journey together. It would have made sense in sign language. Sometimes my mouth speaks sign, which is a different order of the words. I'm like, oh, it made sense in sign, just not in English language right now. All right. Have a beautiful day, girls. And we'll be checking in along the way. And I'm just checking in to see if there's anything else. Nope. I think that's about it for now. All right. Mwah. Welcome to our last module. And